I feel like I'm acting very insecure. I'm like very reactive. Uh, and I just don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I just keep feeling a lot of intense emotions, and it's just frustrating. So I hope you understand my question now.
Yeah, no, I understand. So the first thing to say is it's not about becoming perfect. It's not about becoming a better person or even changing anything. It's about knowing the truth of what you are, or getting as close to that truth as possible. Now, the effect of knowing that most times does seem to impact the body mind after. Because once you've seen it and experienced it, everything lessens. The importance of thoughts, the judgments, the actions. There's just less tension and less importance given to any of it. So it naturally decreases. But it goes in that direction. It doesn't happen that you fix what you're doing as a person and then do you see what I mean? Like,
I mean, so you're saying if I'm putting, if I get over this, then I'll able to. If I get over this, then I'll able to self-realize. Is that what you're trying to point at?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of this is a layers type of situation. So something happens in your life, right? You react in a certain way, and you will have reacted in a certain way because of a thought. So somebody did something or something triggered you and you did whatever, doesn't matter. So a thought led to that action. Okay. Now at that point, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, because if somebody bumps into me in the street, I don't think about it. I'm just going, like it's just a natural thing. Like, if a bee stings you, you say, ow. That's just a natural instinct, right? But so that's layer number one. Something's triggered naturally, automatically, something's been triggered. Layer number two is you have then maybe thought about that afterwards. So you've started thinking about the past. So you've thought about an action that's taken place. Right. So now we're in layer two of thoughts. We had a thought that initiated the action, or you believe it initiated the action. Then we have a thought about what happened because you've remembered it in the past. This is what's happened in the past. And then we have a third layer where you've then made a judgment about that, saying that's bad. Right? All of those things are thoughts. You didn't do that. You didn't ask for any of those to occur. So, people would say to, I think it was Nisargadatta, the sage, that he smoked all his life. And people said, why? How can you smoke? It's so unhealthy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He's like, this, what you see is not me. I am the world. I am the cigarette. I am the smoke. I am your question. Like he was fully realized, but it didn't make him a perfect body mind. So it's not about being a saint. It's about moving around with from your deepest truth that you know. right? So goes back to what I said earlier. People can say, "Oh yeah, I know everything's one, and I know I'm awareness," but then they'll get trapped in thought, or they'll set goals to go out and do stuff, and they'll do all this stuff. And then they'll maybe come back to like, oh yeah, once a week. Oh no, I'm awareness, I'm an awareness, I'm aware. Like, it needs to be experienced. At the moment, you're kind of hopping between these worlds and using it depending on where you're at, So you've kind of got this version of self-realization over here that in your mind, and then you've got the way that you're moving in the world as a person over here, and there's this conflict, right?
So I have that confusion, like, should I believe these thoughts, or should I just?
That's a thought, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thought. Yeah.
So, I mean, all of this comes from still. There's still a big part of you that feels you're separate, right? Because you feel that that you are the thoughts, or that they have importance to you, or that you should be picking them or looking out for good ones to take action on. So it sounds like you're still quite connected to all that, which is natural. I mean, that's how it goes. But I got trapped in similar what you were saying there about, because we can misinterpret some of the teachings and think, okay, the mind is bad, the thoughts are bad. I shouldn't think at all. And you go down this track, and then you end up thinking about thoughts. Oh, was that a good thought? Is that crazy? Should I ignore that? Should I choose this one? Is that in line with what I know? Blah, blah, blah. But it's just a thought. It's just another thought. That's how the mind works. It builds and builds and builds on it. All you need to do is just take that step back and just watch all of this. So if you imagine a river, right? The river is thoughts going past. What you've tried initially is, before you learned anything about spirituality, you thought you were the river of thoughts, right? You were right in there, drowning, getting carried along with this thing. Then you learned something and you stepped out of the river, right? Let's say you sat on the riverbank with your feet in the river. You're still connected to the thoughts. What you're kind of doing now is, and for a time you tried to stop the thoughts. So you tried to block the river, right? Which obviously you can't stop a giant river. Let's say like the Ganges. Good luck trying to stop that, right? So, but you tried.
Yeah.
Then you're kind of sitting on the edge of the river. And what you're doing now is you're saying that I want that one, but that's good and that's bad, right? With the river of thoughts as they flow by. Some of them you're jumping in and following along with. Some of them you're sort of saying, no, that's not a good one. That led to a problem, so on. Whereas really, the person that I've described here sitting on the riverbank or being in the river, was just a thought. You have been the riverbank all along. Right? And the riverbank is awareness. The riverbank is not affected by the river. It doesn't jump in and follow the river. It doesn't try and stop the river. It doesn't judge the river. It doesn't make more river and contribute to more thoughts. Awareness just watches the river flow by and do its river thing. So what's happening is you're getting pulled in, you're getting repeatedly sort of pulled in, you've tried different tactics to sort of inverted commas solve the problem of thoughts. You don't have to. There's nothing you're never going to stop that river, and you're never going to change the nature of that river. You just need to get out of it. You just need to take a step back and just remember that you're the awareness in which all of this occurs. So the awareness that's listening to these words now is the same awareness that you had during the experiences that you've described, same awareness that saw these thoughts come up, and the same awareness that was aware of the judgment about the thoughts or about the actions. That awareness is the quality of that awareness never changed throughout any of that.
Most of my thoughts are usually just like, you're still doing this. Why are you acting this way? Why are you still doing this? Like all these silly things, they come and get me,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, there's different, you're kind of talking about personal, development and developing the person and trying to fix traits in a person, which is a very indirect path. Whereas ultimately, all you need to do is realize truly what you are, not intellectually, but beyond mind.
But that doesn't fix it.
Well, it removes the need for anything to be fixed, because you realize that, if when you see that you're not the body mind, and that you don't control the body mind, what is left to do as a body mind? Nothing, right? So it all comes down to really what you want. If you want, there's nothing wrong with 99% of people in the world feel they're separate and they're trying their best to get happiness by doing this, improving themselves as an individual and growing. But fine, that's fine. There's different journeys for everybody. That's all okay. But the spiritual journey is about, investigating the truth about what you are, which just is a question removed, is a distance removed from what you're talking about. It doesn't solve it. Like, it doesn't instantly make you a better person. It doesn't give you self-confidence. It doesn't, stop you from smoking or whatever. It just gives you a completely different perspective. It gives you the truth about what reality is. So you can actually then make, you can then make peace with what's happening, rather than feeling everything's a problem to be fixed. So I would say for you is just spend some time each day just contemplating what truth means to you, or what it is that you want to investigate and how you want to investigate it. Because that awareness piece will just give you a clarity that will help indirectly with all of this, because you're getting pulled in. You're still getting pulled in, with the thoughts and the judgments about this separate individual and how this separate individual's behaved and what they're thinking about. You're thinking about thinking, and you're spending a lot of time, but you didn't make the thoughts. You didn't make any of these thoughts. So it's trying to get to the bottom of not how you can fix them, and not how you can fix the behavior, and not even how you can fix the person, but investigating, is that really what you are?